Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on back here this Thursday, January 28th. One day left until the end of the pay period. I'll say it before Fausto does. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. We are good to go across the board, though. We should be at least on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, and of course across our live trading room here. I see Norman, Leda, Grant, Mario, Cliff, just a few of our students right now joining us here. So let's hop right into the thick of things. And man, I'll tell you, I'll be honest, once again, I thought I was good to go. I thought I was all prepped up. I had my T's crossed, my I's dotted here. I don't have my Dow symbol up. I always like to have that up here to start things off. All right, so now either way, I mean, obviously it's not as if GBR moves with the market, but damn, this thing is just taken off, right? So, we ended up calling this out heading into the mid to late morning as it broke out over $5, popped up on our Benzinga radar here on our signals page, on of course, on the percent gainers list. It was already up there. But, from there, it just kept going. It's one of these trades that is, well, first off, super volatile and not easy to trade. But secondly, unfortunately, as I say that, it actually seems relatively easy based on a simple trend line. Like off the lows, it seems to be like holding perfectly as it moves on up. It's not as easy in the moment to try and hold on to a trade like GBR as it runs up like that, because minute by minute, it's shaking in like 50 cent, 40 cent, 80 cent bars at times. I mean, now at this point, much more than that. You're looking at a tiny bar even here. And even the smallest bar that I see on this 1 minute chart just across the most recent minutes, it's like, 49 cents? So, this thing's crazy. For this to move up and up and up and anyone to still be in this, unless if you're in from a much lower price, I would look to just scalp this, be in and out quick. And I said, unless if you're in from a much lower price, because if you are, then at least it gives you that much bigger of a cushion to, hold on, let it run up. I don't know. Is this all-time highs? I didn't think it was. I thought it was like one of these stocks back from years past that was like split over and over. I could be wrong. Yeah, it looks like all-time highs. Go back to like 2003. There's nothing there. Wow. All right. So I didn't realize that until now myself. So, perhaps that's like a further reason to try and hold on, with no historical ceiling. But we've seen in the past, it's not every like all-time high in which the stock ends up like clearing as much as it did here. But of course, right now we'll put this on our watch list, GBR. I always jokingly, I have jokingly say this, half seriously say this. We'd like to call it the watch list for a reason. It doesn't mean we're just going to, automatically jump into GBR right here, right now, because it's breaking all-time highs. We got to, follow the smart money, follow the big levels from the chart. That being perhaps 18 even, and not to say 18 is going to hold perfectly, but seeing it hold pretty well as resistance recently here, I'd like to think it should provide a somewhat of a support level at first. But looking at the spread, looking at the liquidity or lack thereof on the book, man, I'm going to put this on our watch list. And for anyone that has, as Fausto would say, the cojones to try and trade it, unfortunately, I do not. So I'm probably going to try and follow some other trades. Perhaps, those that might look as steady as this, but maybe more liquid. That's it. All right. So the Dow today ended up making a nice little move up. The Dow, the S&P, I follow the SPY on my other platform here. So as of now, at least, it's kind of pulling back a slight bit, but not much to it otherwise. I think that the focus is still on GameStop. The focus is still on AMC, BlackBerry, Bed Bath Beyond, Express. A lot of these we'll actually find on the percent losers list this morning, folks. And, for a very unfortunate reason. So I copied and pasted the news just before in the chat board, and here you are across social media. I have the AMC news here, but it's the same to be said for all of these stocks. But, all of them are trading lower. Robinhood, Webull, TD Ameritrade, or Thinkorswim platform at least. I know that Tasty Trade, they ended up restricting trading on these stocks. So with that, it's pretty much to say they're only giving their clients the ability to sell, not the ability to buy. So what do you think people are going to do? Either take their profits or take their losses. But the thing is, with trades like, GameStop, obviously very expensive, but the same to be said as it trickles down to AMC and BlackBerry and Bed Bath Beyond. AMC was probably one of the craziest $10 to $20 stocks that I've ever seen. Just the up and down moves that it's made over the last 2 days. How often do we see a stock go from 9 to 25 in 2 hours or a little bit more, drop all the way back down to 11 in maybe an hour's time or less from there? And then, this is yesterday, but then here we are today. I mean, the same thing, just the range up and down, and then more down today than up. But at this point, you're seeing more folks beginning to sell and just either take their profits if they're in from a higher price or from a lower price, or if they're down, they're going to try and either hold on or eventually lick their wounds and take their losses. So, for the meantime, these trades, I mean, I'm going to keep an eye on them. I'm going to probably just put them on our watch list. I mean, there's a lot of them to follow, so I'm not as jumpy to follow GameStop. I'll say that much. AMC could be interesting, but again, we're going to follow the trend. This thing is just on the way down perfectly. Whoops. There we go. This thing's just on the way down perfectly, especially off the highs over the last hour. All right, so, we're not looking to try and catch the falling knife, but we'll keep an eye on these as they provide good volatility. So if there are signs of this building support, you could say the same with Palantir here, off 35 perhaps, dropped off quite a bit after the market opened. BBBY, Bed Bath Beyond, number 5% loser right now, down over 40% just about. These stocks, just the more liquid they are, the more interested I'll be in. So pretty much AMC. And, I'll tell you, Express. I did pretty good on Express earlier. I was in from 435 or 437 out at 475 or somewhere around there. It popped up a little bit higher, left money on the table, but I started the morning off pretty crappy. So, I'll tell you, for the afternoon, doing pretty good, chopping away and trying to get back to break even. I'm down like $250 still on the day. It goes to show I got my ass handed to me in the morning if I ended up doing pretty good so far heading into the afternoon. So, yeah, for right now, I mean, I'll come back to these perhaps at the end, just maybe at the very end here. I think I'll probably slip AMC on our main watch list for right now, but we'll see what else is moving out there. Norman says, my morning was crappy too, Josh. Listen, even if you're not trading GameStop, Express, if you're not stuck in these trades and you can't get out, and if you still did bad, don't worry. This was a challenging day. I mean, how many times do we happen to see something of this magnitude? And I mean, we see short squeezes happen all the time. We've seen stocks get restricted in the past. I've mentioned this during the live audio broadcast for all of us inside the trading room. How about Kodak? I have TradeStation, but essentially Kodak, for the most part, we were not able to trade it, right? It's untradeable from TradeStation, or at least for a long while it was. I don't know if they even took the restriction off. But ultimately here, I mean, we weren't able to trade this for quite some time, at least, if not still. So I'm not worried about the restriction as much, like long term. But if we happen to see, like, a lot of, it's best to say, if you're a student here in Cyber Trading University, and if you thought today was tough, if you lost money today, don't worry. You're one of many, and I'm included. So, we'll learn from our mistakes. We have to, set our stops, manage our trades well. I took a bunch of small losses. Well, it's not to say I really got my butt handed to me. I got my butt handed to me on one trade. That was it. And it was Workhorse from earlier this morning. But otherwise, I mean, it was just small losses, but those small losses add up. But again, on the same side of things, if you tend to just follow strategy, keep to it, and you find that one winner, you can end up doing pretty well altogether. So, for right now, we'll see what else is out there heading into the afternoon. We'll go from top to bottom. Check in on one other trade, actually, as we go through. I might get filled on a position. All right, let's see what else we got here. TGC, man, good timing. This thing's pushing up beautifully. Up to the high of the day, new high right now, breaking over 365. That seemed to have been a level from time and sales. Check to see if this could hold over 365 coming up here. It's already been chopping through 350, so if this is going to move, it's going to move right now up to 4. So GBR and TGC are top 2%, or top 2, gainers percent-wise. We're going to put on our list, and I'll probably say the same with damn, this CEI. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, this thing just keeps going. Talk about leaving money on the table. I was in this trade from 155 earlier. I got like maybe, I don't know, what was it, like 12 cents on it, 11 cents on it. And it was a decent trade. It was on a lot of shares, but nonetheless, pulled back. I actually shorted it off 176 and picked up a little bit. But man, this thing just kept popping. I didn't check in with it since I ended up just taking my last trade off it. But man, this is a beautiful run up. And we've traded the stock in the past just off of short squeezes like this before. You see the drop off back from 2019, 2018 here even. And it's not to say, and we always like to say this, but for anyone new here joining us, this stock was not a $55,000 symbol back in 2018. It was not, trust me. This is reverse split factored in just to remain above NASDAQ listing compliance or New York Stock Exchange listing compliance here, listed through the NYSE. But, either way, when you happen to see the shorts cover, when you happen to see news come out perhaps otherwise on a stock like CEI and it runs up, you hope to see it continue to run up. So, definitely with where it's at right now, I'll put this on our watch list near the top. Now actually, now I'm realizing it's hard to borrow now. It wasn't hard to borrow before here when I took a little short. Not to say it's a good idea to try and short off the tops either, folks, because, again, that's how you can blow up your account like you did in GameStop or whatever it may be. But, ultimately, it actually ended up providing a good little trade in and out. But now at this point, let's see if we can keep going up. All right, let's keep it pushing. NCTY, man, what the top 4% gainers we're just going to put on our list to begin. This looks great on the way up to 17. You have a 36,000 share order on the ask. Looks pretty strong. I mean, that said, though, it has a very thin order book, thin tier sizes, small orders on the bid and the ask, sans that 17 level. So trade this with caution. Definitely the type of stock that would be like a pump and dump. Unfortunately, we've actually seen this. If you look at the daily chart here, ended up running up back. Maybe what was this, back in early January? Just day over day over day, gapped up the next morning in pre-market probably. Well, afterwards, you don't want to get stuck trying to hold on to this thing afterwards because it's hard to get out. Just dropped all the way down towards just about $6, then popped up here now. LLIT here. Man, see, this is the type of move you don't want to get stuck in. For as many times as it got halted on the way up, once it gets halted on the way down, it's game over. That's it. We kind of talked about that. It was earlier within this week in our Traders Talk workshop. I know I went over that with a couple of folks here inside coaching sessions here live, but same to be said with this Jan trade too. The way that you could probably just avoid trades like this, not to say you don't watch them at all, because they can be really good trades, given the moment, the time, the day. But, you don't want to get stuck in these trades on the way down, right? Well, these types of stocks are all very low float type of trades. I don't know the short interest on them as much, but if I were to run this here, you can see this has a 1 million share float. That's honestly as low as I've ever seen. Probably maybe high 100,000s I've seen, but 1 million, that's stupid low. So, same to be said with the LLIT trade. Here's MXC, 820,000. Yeah, that's as low as I've ever seen pretty much. It's running up right now. So as beautiful as it looks on the chart, what do you think is going to happen to this stock? If not later on today, then perhaps tomorrow. It's going to get crushed. So I'm not even as keen to put this on our list. And actually, that's a good transition because this is number 5. So we keep on rolling here. So see what else we got. PED. Probably imagine this to be a low float stock as well. Just look at this pretty quick. Probably keep this up now at this point. Yeah, pretty interesting that it's 72 million shares outstanding, but 8 million share float. What does that tell you? So, yeah, on this type of trade here, I'll put this on our list because it seems to be a little bit more liquid. It's shaking around like crazy, but the spreads still seem to be somewhat tight. Thin tiers, but there still seems to be some volume on the book for this to work off of. So, before it gets too out of hand, I'll put this on our list. I'll keep this up now. Let's see what else we got. USEG, I remember this being low float. Yeah, you just see right there. You just keep scrolling down right there. You'll see 2.67 million. All of these low float stocks are being pumped up right now. So maybe it's the Robinhood traders that still have some money, some capital that are able to trade these stocks. Who knows? Maybe they didn't restrict those stocks just yet. But, it's not always the best idea to be trading those, every one of those. You're going to get trapped, lose a lot of money. You want to try and follow the liquidity more than anything. So, again, this ENSV trade, before it gets a little too out of hand, it's starting to open up right now, actually, as I'm talking. But, yeah, this seems to be a better run up, perhaps. I'm still even more reluctant to put this on our watch list still. I'll come back to this maybe in 5 minutes. We'll see where it's at, if it ends up dumping back down or not. ACY, I know, is super low float. We've seen the stock pump and dump just like 2 weeks ago, and obviously this morning in pre-market. MARPS, we've seen that too. All of these stocks. I mean, geez, number 50 is like still up like 17.5%. Here's a stock I'm familiar with. There we go. Ah, man, even furthermore, right? I didn't have my Dow symbol up on my chart to begin this meeting. Well, I don't have my Bitcoin chart up even loaded up. For all of us live inside the trading room, just give me a moment. I'll copy and paste. Once I'm done with the meeting, I'll tell you where it's at. Small little move up on Bitcoin this morning. So Riot and Mara pushed up pretty nicely. I wanted to see a lot more out of some of the cheaper blockchain stocks like FTFT here. Really patchy trade. I took a 5-cent loss on this. BT looks a little strong in its trend and its chart, near the highs, but still this is like very illiquid, very thin tier sizes, small orders on the book. I'll jump to this one here, HUSA. I see it popping up on my Benzinga Pro right now. So before we hop over to the losers list here, I just want to go through a few more. This HUSA seems to be all right also. I kind of put it in line with that ENSV trade. I guess this, geez, I was about to say this. I guess the spreads are kind of tight, but literally the second I say that, if you're watching the Matrix level 3 on the right-hand side, it's like opening up to be like a 7-8 cent spread the second I'm talking. So, oh man, I mean, I love the trend. It definitely has, resistance ahead at 3. I'll slip this one on here for right now, but again, I don't like adding all these trades here to our list. Doesn't mean that they're all going to be like really nice runs. All right, so I was getting to Mara. I actually got cut off by my Benzinga Pro here on my bottom monitor here. But yeah, Mara is still same thing. It's like the trend of the day here. All these stocks have, light liquidity on the book. Riot might have a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. It's just choppy here, up and down. So I'll tell you, I'm just going to pass on these two. The stock that I have an order out for right now, I will tell you, I do have an order out for this one trade, OCX, off of 550, high of the day from yesterday. We saw some buying come in off 550 just before as this meeting started. So if this could break above 550 here in a moment's time, perhaps we'll see it run higher. But check back in with this perhaps just in a few moments here. I have it up on my other screen too. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list. We'll check in with Express, AMC. I mean, again, we're not as likely to follow these as much. Express getting a small little push up so far, perhaps. For as much as it dived off, you would imagine for as much as it dived off, when's it going to pop back up? It dived all the way back down towards where it was trading just back from Tuesday, perhaps like the high from Tuesday, and then like spiked right back up from there. AMC, I'd probably imagine the same to be said. This might be halted. Yep. All right, AMC's halted right now, looks like, right off 2:45 Eastern time. Actually, it was halted, what was that, 3 minutes ago? Yeah, it's halted like 3 minutes ago here, pretty much. Probably open up in a couple here. Doesn't mean we're going to trade it, but just I didn't realize that until right now, the halt that was. Geez, just all of this is crap. None of this I'd be like so interested in trading us aside from the volatility. The volatility I embrace, and if it's liquid, I'll be interested in it. Like this isn't so bad. Watch, the second I say that, it'll be like a 10-cent spread. But right now this still seems to be pretty tight. I like BlackBerry. All right, I'll slip this one on here too. I might scrap AMC from the list, though. That's like getting a little too out of hand for us. I'd rather trade BlackBerry. They're both making the same relative move up. Genius, GNUS, nice move off 215. I was a huge fan of this stock yesterday in the afternoon, and really unfortunate what had happened today because this took as big of a dive off as it made a move up. So, it's getting a nice little bounce back up here. I mean, again, I love the liquidity on a trade like this. I'm just wondering how much it's going to get you right now. It's already moved off at 2. That's the main level to watch. So if you're in from 2 right now, you're looking pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep this off for right now. Maybe tomorrow we'll watch this again. Perhaps tomorrow, my belief will be that we'll see this make a much sharper move up, more worth our time. Nokia, probably the same thing to be said with this. Yeah, Nikola here perhaps, pretty volatile. I know this one's typically more liquid. She's pretty flat, holding under 24. Really big volume-based level today. Alrighty, folks. I'll tell you, I don't have much else on my radar. Yeah, nothing. So I'll jump to YouTube, Facebook Live first. I see a lot of chat from there, so let me just jump to you folks first, and then I'll jump to all of us live inside the trading room. From Mitch, he's asking about Archon. Yeah, just popped up before, right? It's like one of those low float trades. Good liquidity on the book. Watch, I'm like the jinx right now. Open up, but yeah, shaking around a little bit here. Not as keen on it just yet. And asking about the PED trade again. Yeah, that was one that we were watching. We said kind of maybe keep an eye on. We have this on our list right now. I said I would kind of put it on our list. So still pushing up. It's pretty thin, but again, out of all of those, I do like this one probably the most. Got a question here. I like this. I'm going to post this up on our feed right now. Mr. Cyber Trading, what do you think about putting 1K into GBR? I do not think about that really at all. GBR, it depends on where, right? We're going to follow the smart money on a trade like this. So that's where I said to you folks just before, I'm not going to try and toss a dart on the wall and hope it lands just because it's pushing up and breaking all-time highs. This thing is slicing down right now on the way to 20. So yeah, I would be really careful if you're trying to trade this. I would do the one share policy, as Fausto says live inside our room. From Eddie's asking, why is GBR up so much today? I got a little time right now. No worries about that. So just check in, see if there's any specific headline. Well, I'll tell you, it's the same reason as to why everything else was up just from the last couple days. No company news, at least. So it's all retail traders squeezing the stock up. That would be my belief. That's news on GBT right there. All right, John says TGC crashing. Yeah, if GBR is crashing, I'd imagine TGC if they're trading pretty similar. All right, hopefully the run up is not done just yet. All right, we'll keep these on our list though. What's the relationship between GBR and CEI? I would not know that, unfortunately. Not at least off the top of my head. All right, folks. I think that we're good to go. I mean, all in all, we have a decent list number-wise. We have, I think, what do we have? 2, 4, 6, 7 stocks on our main list. Let's check out the other two. Maybe we'll add those, the OCX, the ENSV trade. I mean, good setup off 550. In terms of a resistance, it was yesterday's high. If we could break above the iceberg order that's there, or at least what's of it, or what's remaining of it, it could be a good setup. I'll kind of keep it on standby. And finally here, our last one. Oh, actually, one thing before we part ways, actually. But this ENSV, yeah, crashing back down right now. All righty, so yeah, we're going to scrap this one for the meantime, too. All right, so for all of us live inside the trading room, I'm going to copy and tweet the picks. And then for all of us on social media, as always, like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/cybertradingu. And as always, feel free to join us Monday to Friday live inside the Cyber Group trading room. Much like our newest student, actually, I want to give him a quick shout out before we part ways. That's Robert M. Robert M. from Texas joining us live as a full-time student here at Cyber Trading University. Welcome aboard, Robert. For any of our new students joining us, make sure that you folks go through all of the class recordings, that being the phase 1, 2, and 3 class curriculum. If you're confused by what that means, please talk to your education advisor. They're here to kind of be your middleman between myself and you, or Fausto and you, and they're here to help you along the way. They're here to, pretty much, hold your hand along the way as a new student. All right, folks, give me about 30 minutes. I'll jump back on the mic myself right at 3:30, taking you into the market close. Take care.